On May 8, 2025, the world turned its eyes to Rome. White smoke rose from the Sistine Chapel. Crowds gathered at St. Peter's Square held their breath. And then, the words echoed across the centuries, Habemus Papam. Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, a 69-year-old from Chicago, became Pope Leo XIV. With that announcement, he made history as the first American-born pope, the first pope from the order of St. Augustine, and the first English-speaking pontiff in nearly 900 years. He stepped onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica in simple white vestments. Tens of thousands stood below, watching, cheering, praying. In his first words as pope, he called for peace, reconciliation, and a church that listens. The name he chose, Leo, echoes the legacy of Leo XIII, the Pope of modern Catholic social teaching. It signals a desire for continuity, not rupture. From that moment, Leo XIV became not just the Bishop of Rome, but a spiritual father to more than 1 billion Catholics around the world. Long before he wore the white cassock of the papacy, Robert Francis Prevost was simply Bob, a quiet, thoughtful boy growing up in the working-class suburbs of Chicago. He was born on September 14, 1955, to a deeply rooted American family. His mother of Afro-Creole descent from Louisiana and Haiti, and his father, a Navy veteran, of Italian and French heritage, raised in Dolton, Illinois. Robert served as an altar boy at St. Mary of the Assumption Church. From a young age, he felt called to the priesthood. Faith was never just tradition, it was vocation. He excelled in school. At St. Augustine Seminary High School, he edited the yearbook, led the student council, and earned academic honors. After high school, he studied mathematics at Villanova University, a subject he later taught alongside theology. But his path was always clear. In 1977, he entered the Order of St. Augustine. 3 years later, he took his solemn vows. In 1982, he was ordained a priest in Rome. His studies continued, a Master of Divinity in Chicago, and later doctorates in canon law in Rome. He became a polyglot, fluent in English, Spanish, Italian, French, and Portuguese. He could read Latin and German. Wherever the church sent him, he was ready to serve. This man, shaped by faith, education, and global vision, would one day be called to serve not just a local parish, but the whole church. In 1985, Father Robert Prevost boarded a plane to Peru. He didn't know it then, but this mission would shape the soul of a future pope. Assigned to the territorial prelature of Cholucanas, he served as a parish pastor, seminary teacher, and diocesan official. The work was hard, the people were poor, but their faith was alive. He returned in 1988 and stayed for the next 10 years, teaching canon law, leading a local congregation, and forming new Augustinian priests. He became more than a visitor. He became part of Peru. In 2014, Pope Francis appointed him Apostolic Administrator of the Diocese of Chiclayo. A year later, he became its bishop and a naturalized Peruvian citizen. As bishop, he was a shepherd who understood suffering. He supported Venezuelan refugees, strengthened Caritas Peru, and advocated for education and healthcare in neglected communities. He also served in the National Bishops' Conference, helping guide church policy across the country for the people of Chiclayo. Bishop Prevost was not just a foreigner in a collar. He was their pastor, their father, and their friend. And it was here, in Latin America, that he honed the balance between tradition and mercy, a balance that would define his papacy. In 2023, Bishop Robert Prevost's quiet rise became impossible to ignore. Pope Francis called him back to Rome and entrusted him with one of the Church's most powerful roles. Prefect of the Dicastery for Bishops, this office shapes the global face of the Church, recommending new bishops, reviewing episcopal leadership, and guiding the apostolic succession across continents. Cardinal Prevost quickly gained the respect of both progressives and conservatives. He was a man of discipline, but also of compassion. He listened, he discerned, he served. Later that year, he was made a cardinal deacon of Santa Monica degli Agostiniani, the church of his own Augustinian roots. He traveled widely to Puerto Rico, Latin America, Europe, meeting bishops, forming networks, building trust. Inside the Vatican, his influence grew steadily. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't seeking power, but his clarity and integrity made him impossible to overlook. On February 6, 2025, he was elevated to Cardinal Bishop, one of the highest-ranking clergy in the Catholic hierarchy. By then, the whispers had begun. Could this quiet missionary from Chicago be the next pope? Just 3 months later, in a locked room beneath Michelangelo's frescoes, the answer became clear. As Pope Leo XIV steps into the shoes of the fisherman, the world watches closely. Who is he, and what does he stand for? The answer is not simple. He is deeply traditional, yet quietly reformist. He opposes abortion, euthanasia, and the death penalty. He defends the dignity of life from conception to natural death. He has spoken out against what he calls gender ideology in school curricula, warning that confusing identities erode the human foundation of truth. And yet, he's no culture warrior. He supports refugees, including those fleeing Venezuela. He's called for bold climate action, urging the church to defend creation without becoming political. His message is rooted in scripture, not slogans. On the role of women, his stance is measured but firm. He does not support ordination to the diaconate, calling it a potential clericalization that could distract from the deeper gifts women offer the church. Still, he encourages their leadership. During the 2023 Synod, he applauded the inclusion of women in the vote, a first in church history. What defines Leo XIV may not be the battles he fights, but the tone he sets, respectful listening. Pastoral. He does not seek to dismantle doctrine, but to renew the heart behind it. In a polarized world, his challenge will be enormous: to unify without compromise, to inspire without division, to lead with both strength and humility. From the streets of Chicago to the pulpits of Peru, and now to the throne of St. Peter, Pope Leo XIV carries with him a story of service, sacrifice, and unexpected destiny. His papacy is just beginning, but already it signals something new: a church both global and grounded, a shepherd who listens, a leader who prays. What legacy will he leave? What wounds will he heal? What truth will he proclaim to a world aching for meaning? Only time will tell. But for now, the world has a new voice, and his name is Leo. Thank you for watching. If you found this story meaningful, subscribe to Aminarino for more faith-filled insights into the lives of Catholic leaders and saints. And tell us in the comments, what do you hope to see from Pope Leo XIV?